You are listening to Unstoppable Actors, the essential podcast for ambitious, unknown actors with me, Louise, the artistic director of Standby Method Acting Studio. And for the last 13 years, I've been taking unknown actors with blank CVs all the way to Netflix dramas, Amazon Prime films, TV soaps, and stage plays around the world. And every week I'll be talking with you and sharing how you can become a paid working unstoppable actor, because you 1000% can. An acting career is doable. Are you ready to dive into the episode? Hello, welcome to Unstoppable Actors. We've got a really good episode today, which actually comes from an email that we got from an actor not too long ago. So they emailed us, and the email is podcast@standbymethod.com should you wish to send an email and have your question or dilemma dissected on an episode. They emailed us a while ago, actually, about a role that they'd auditioned for that they didn't get, and they were feeling a little bit disgruntled. And that is what I am going to be exploring today. I think you'll find it very interesting because it's an experience that you may have already had yourself, or definitely may come across at some point in your acting career on your journey to becoming unstoppable. Before I get into that, just going to remind you that we have got an incredible, inspiring, uplifting workshop on Saturday, the 2nd of November, all about rejection. So if you want to change your relationship to rejection, if you want to learn how to become more resilient, if you want to feel empowered when you hear no, rather than letting it get to you, if you want to stay proactive, if you want to move through the disappointment and frustration quicker so you don't lose opportunities, then I highly recommend you get a place at this free workshop on Saturday, the 2nd of November. You can be of any level of experience, you can be from anywhere in the world to come and join, as it's online. I'd love to have you there. I want to coach you through this because, of course, rejection is one of those things that you are going to experience again and again and again and again and again until you get that break. It's the nature of the beast. It's the nature of being in the acting industry. So we definitely need to be armed up for it and ready to move through it and not let it hold us back. So come and get your place. Link is in the episode description to come and get your free place. You can find it literally just underneath where you've pressed play. So go and get a place and then come back and listen to the rest of the episode. Okay, so this actor actually didn't leave their name. They left this email anonymously, but the essence of their email is that they went to an audition. They did their best. They got incredible feedback. The director absolutely loved their audition, said they'd made choices that other actors hadn't made about the character that really stood out. It was very enjoyable. It was a very strong audition. And yet it was still a no. And this is where this actor is feeling a bit disgruntled and essentially wanting to know what's gone wrong. What could they have done better? How could they have changed it from a no to a yes? So here's the thing about this. It can absolutely feel like a big kick in the knee when you've got all that incredible feedback and it is still a no. It is very, very disheartening. And of course, we will get sucked into those thought stories of, what more could I have done? Or if I can't get a role when they love it, what chance do I stand anyway? And here's the thing about rejection. No matter how resilient we are, no matter how upbeat we are, no matter how positive we can be about these no's, it still stings. And it can open old wounds up from our past about not being good enough or about there being something wrong with us. So we've got to look at this objectively, because if we do start getting caught up in these old wounds and these negative stories, we do need to recognise that they are exactly that, a story in our head that's actually gripped by emotion. Now, when the emotion takes over the story, whether that be fear, disappointment, even the feeling of incessantly criticising yourself and feeling like a failure, when these emotions take over, it's hard to come down from the sting because the emotion feeds the sting, the emotion feeds the story. Now, I'm not here to force toxic positivity on you because it bloody stings when we hear no, and that's okay. It is absolutely all right to feel that sting, to sit in that emotion. You do need to let yourself feel that, but we do need to look at it objectively, like I said earlier. And we can do this from 3 different perspectives, because the last thing we want is for that emotion to continue to feed these stories and for it to debilitate us and for it to take us longer to get back up again and get back up on our feet and find our next audition. So we're going to look at this. I said from 3 different perspectives. We're actually going to look at this from 4 different perspectives. Your mindset and your relationship to rejection, the director's point of view, your craft, and your wins. So the first one is your mindset and relationship to rejection. So what we've got to ask ourselves is, what are you making this rejection mean about yourself as an actor? And then when you've answered that, you need to ask yourself, well, is this true? So, for example, you might be making it mean that you'll never get cast anyway if you can't get cast after positive feedback. So that might be the meaning you're giving to the rejection. Then we've got to ask, well, is this actually true? And the answer is usually no, 99% of the time. Because if you've been cast before, how can this possibly be true? If you haven't been cast yet because you're quite new and in the early stages of your career, well, you got called into the audition. So you've got to be doing something right. So is this story true? When we can figure out and unpick these stories that we're telling ourselves, we figure out what our relationship to rejection is. And when we've got the self-awareness to know what it is, then we can move forwards. Because then we can ask ourselves another question, which is it worth my time consistently feeding these negative stories? If I love acting so much and I really want this to be my career, and I do not want to be in an office job for the rest of my life or in any other job because no other job makes me feel the way acting does, is it worth focusing on this negative story that we've got going on in our head or the wound we feel about it? And the answer is probably going to be no. But of course, it is hard when we're caught up in emotions to be objective, which is why that rejection workshop is going to be so incredible, because I'm going to give you so many different perspectives on rejection that you may or may not have heard of before. Anyway, let's get back to number 2 then. So number 2, the second perspective, is the director's point of view. Now, he or she loved your work. They gave you incredible feedback. You've left a good mark on them. So here's another question to ask, which sometimes we might not even consider when we're caught up in the emotional sting. So the director is a fellow creative like yourself. As they are a fellow creative, are they allowed to go in a different direction with the character, the one that you auditioned for? Of course they are. Are they allowed to choose another actor? Of course they are. So instead of getting caught up in the fact that it was a no, control what you can, which is your enthusiasm, your professionalism, and your skills. And don't obsess about the things that you can't control, which is actually getting the role. Surrender to the fact that you don't get to decide the cast list. You will feel so much better and less tense about rejection when you realise that it's just a numbers game and you just need to get to as many auditions as possible, and no's are not personal. The third perspective is your craft. So your craft is your acting skills, the techniques and exercises that you're using. Do a review after every single no. Which of your acting skills, which of your acting exercises are smoking hot? Is it your script analysis? Is it your clarity of expression? Is it the character physicality? Are you really good at that? Is it your ability to immerse into the role with ease and make them sound and look nothing like you? Is it your interesting character choices? And then, which skills need a refresher or developing? Is it something that I've just mentioned above, or is it something different, like your emotional connection, like your ability to take the character on a journey from a point A to a point B? Is it that you're playing the scenes on one level and that needs a refresher or developing? It's always good to review after every single no your craft and your skills, and then go back to learning and developing your skills between auditions so you don't get rusty, so you don't get complacent, and so you can bring something fresh to each new audition you are presented with, so you can feel good about yourself. And that will also take the sting out of the no. Because let's think about this. You need to be good at your job like any other employee in any other industry for you to stand out. Then the fourth perspective is your wins. So after you've heard the no, you need to review your wins from the audition. And in this case, this actor had their skills and their character choices praised. The director praised you. They enjoyed your performance. That is amazing. Put that in the bag as a win and let that incredible feedback springboard you into finding and prepping your next audition with similar gusto, because you are doing something right. It's just unlucky on this occasion. I don't even really like that word lucky or luck, but I can't find another word to express this, but it's just unlucky on this occasion that it was a no. But it's not a reflection of you. That is a huge win. Maybe another huge win is that actually you had a lot going on in your personal life and you could have quite easily not done the self-tape or not gone to the audition, but you did, you turned up. That's a huge win. Maybe everything was against you in terms of getting to the audition on time, and yet you got there on time and you managed to compose yourself if it was in person. That is a huge win. Maybe you found something new in the character that you'd not even found in rehearsals when you were prepping. It's a huge win. You've got to find the wins to keep you going. As I've said earlier, it's okay to feel stingy after rejections. It's absolutely okay. You're a human. We don't want to be a robot who just robots our way through all the no's, because eventually they'll just catch up with you anyway and they'll have a far bigger impact on you if you suppress these stingy feelings. But we do need regrounding, because when we reground after a no, you will then stay proactive. You will then stay determined. You will then stay enthusiastic, whether you hear a no after 2 auditions, after 10 auditions, or after 50 auditions. We do not want those no's getting the better of you and wearing you down. And that's why I highly encourage you to get a free place at the rejection workshop on Saturday, the 2nd of November, because I'm going to be teaching you things and giving you practical exercises about rejection that I can't give you in the podcast that will help you stay proactive, focused, and feeling bloody good about yourself. Because when we don't feel good about ourselves, we tend to hide away, or it takes us longer to get back up and start finding auditions, and we simply miss out on opportunities. I don't want that for you. I want you grabbing every single opportunity. So if you want to learn more than what I can offer you in this podcast, and these episodes help you and they help you feel inspired and they help you develop, but you do want more, come and get your place at that free class. Link is underneath the podcast. I'll see you again soon. I've absolutely loved hanging out with you, and I really hope you found this episode inspiring. If you have, please do rate the podcast and hit follow so you never miss an episode, and I can help more actors like you. And come and join one of the most supportive, uplifting acting communities on socials, the Unstoppable Actors Facebook group, where you'll get your weekly injection of inspiration, networking, and receive your free Method Actors handbook so you can become an unstoppable actor.